We've learned that our heroes are moving west somewhere in the Bay Area of California. Eventually, that means reaching the ocean. They had to know that, so I'm not sure why they went west. There is one place on this continent that might hold some hope of a way to get them home. It's on the other coast, which means going west to get there is doing it the hard way.
Certainly a big help, Galen. We'll try not to leave tracks. Run closer to the water. Don't be afraid to get your feet wet.
My tracks are not cause for suspicion in this part of the world, and besides, we are not quite so fond of water as you humans. Yuck!
Pete is still trying to figure out what beach this is, as if those names matter anymore. It's as far as they can go this way, so how about trying that way?
Hey, look.
It's an old man tied to that raft and exposed to the elements. Worse, the tide is receding, pulling him toward the open sea, and there's a nice big shark circling. They bring him in and cut him loose, but he's unconscious from exposure and probably dehydration. Galen finds a cave nearby where they can check him out more thoroughly without being seen.
Hey there now. What's your name, huh? Hey, come on, you understand? In shock or deaf?
It's hard to say. You might not understand us.
I am dead. Leave me.
His name is dead? Who did that to their own child? They finally wheedle out of him that when he was alive, his name was Gato, and the gods have decided he's dead. Now, if they can find some way to explain to him that the gods have hit the pause button, they might find out what's going on here.
Well, that's a start. Hey, Pete, look.
For identification, maybe?
Maybe. I'll tell you one thing. Certainly on there for life.
That's a band of an enforced labor camp. He'll be killed if he's found wandering so far from the permitted area.
From what we saw, he didn't have much of a choice about the wandering.
Question. If he wants to be dead, why can't he be dead? And I've known a lot of humans who would be better off.
You sure you want to finish that thought, Galen? The answer to your question is we don't operate like that. Every life is valuable and important and deserves to be preserved. Even yours.
Is that your question?
Well...
Here's the answer. Galen, you're going to stay here and keep an eye on him. We're going to go out and scout the area and see if we can find out who old Gato here belongs to. Does that meet with your approval? Now, come on, Pete, let's take a walk.
Call it a minor punishment for what you almost said. That forced labor camp Galen mentioned is a commercial fishing operation. Those slaves spend all day spearing fish and tossing them onto a wagon. The fish are then sent to a processing plant where they're made into fertilizer for the agricultural regions.
Shark! Shark!
For a change, the gorillas with their rifles aren't there to shoot the humans. They shoot the sharks to keep them from eating the humans.
Man. If this is Paradise Cove, they've sure made some changes.
Yeah.
Pete, look. The bracelets.
What do you think?
I don't know, Pete. They've got a lot of artillery down there.
You! What are you doing here?
Yeah, including that piece of artillery behind you.
Who are you? Where'd you come from?
Well, actually, we're just passing through. We would have called ahead, but...
Silence! This way!
Don't ask a question if you don't want to hear the answer. It's rude.
You know Gatto?
Wait, does Gatto live here?
Looks like old Gatto's got a lot of acquaintances and no close friends.
Yep.
One person was interested, but her man wouldn't let her follow up. If they could move a little more freely, they might have a chance to find out what that's about, but it'll have to wait.
You! How many fish do you have in your gullet, eh?
We didn't steal any fish.
Ha! You weren't no band of a fisherman. How else would you get fish to eat if not by stealing them?
Well, if you'll let me explain. You see, we were...
Silence!
Well, now we know where the gorilla learned to do that.
If they're not fishermen, they're of no use to me. Take them out and kill them.
Come, wait a minute. Hold it! You made a mistake. You know, we're probably about the two best fishermen in this whole part of the world.
He spins a story about how they were farmers. They just got released from another camp but lost their release papers, but they were let go because they always wanted to fish. They've been practicing and everything. Our host, Hurton by name, could use more strong fishermen. He's running a profitable business, except for one thing.
3 wagon loads behind already this period, and the fertilizer factory's wanting more! Huh?
They keep raising his quotas and he can't keep up. There's plenty of fish out there, but between the sharks and a shortage of laborers, getting them to the factory is more of a challenge than the mucky mucks think it should be.
I could use 2 more good producers. Have to discard the old ones. Takes forever to grow the new ones.
That means what you think it does. It explains Gatto, and if it doesn't turn your stomach a little, it should.
We'll let the fire decide.
The fire.
We'll test you tomorrow. If you can prove your swimming ability under the sheet of flame, I'll band you myself.
I think they'll pass on that last part. What's this fire test all about? Well, there's an area of the water that has some kind of burning oil on it. They have to swim under it to the other side.
Maybe you are not too dead to have one of these. Come on.
I have failed the gods. I am dead.
You know, my friends have a saying. I think it goes something like this. You are a pain in the neck. And if anything happens to them, I will personally feed you to the sharks, piece by piece.
It is the will of the gods.
Oh, shut up.
I learned a wonderful statement from the minister who married us the first time. If someone comes up to me and says, I have a message from God for you, I answer, God knows my number. He can call me himself. Lots of people can claim to hear stuff from God, or the gods in this case, or whatever. As long as these messages are only telling the person to make themselves better, fine and dandy. If they start explaining that the messages are aimed at other people, individually or collectively, beware. Better yet, walk away. Laughing at them sometimes helps too, but you have to evaluate that on a case-by-case basis.
It is the will of Galen that you stay right here. You know, they've been gone for a whole day. I'm going to see if I can find them. Now, do you understand?
He's going to go find out what's happened to them. Since he's an ape, he can move about freely and ask questions. The boys are at the burning water. There's one other candidate for banding, and he'll do the test first.
chances are, Pete? We've probably been in training. We get to go that route without even a test run.
In his younger days, my grandfather bet some guys that he could swim across this enormous river underwater on a single breath. They laid their money down without hesitation because they knew nobody could do that. Except he did. He didn't know the science behind it. At that time, nobody did. But when you hold your breath, that urge to breathe isn't caused by a lack of oxygen. It's a buildup of carbon dioxide. If you wait until you can't stand it anymore and then just let out a little puff like this, it literally feels as though you just took a new breath. He got a good lungful before he dove in and then slowly released it as he swam. My dad told me this story. He didn't know how much his dad won that day, but there were a lot of takers, so it was a lot.
Good luck, pal. Looks like you won the toss. I say I think that's the starting gun.
If I was in his place, my first instinct would be to throw that spear at the guy with the gun and say, "How do you like it?" And by the way, if he has to do this, ain't nobody gonna upstage Alan. That other guy didn't come up with a fish.
You're a hard act to follow.
But he will, and he too comes up with a fish on his spear. Hurton is very happy. Looks like these itinerant humans are a bit superior to his homegrown ones.
Bandar will arrive tomorrow with new quotas, no doubt. He will expect me to squirm and complain. He always wanted to put his nephew in charge here. I think I will surprise Bandar with these new fishermen. I want to see his face. Bring them along!
Galen has slipped into the village, but isn't sure whether he should show himself yet or not.
Did they say any more?
They said nothing.
I am sure they have seen my father. Gato is alive.
Silence. If the gods hear you speak his name, they're gonna punish us all. The sea's taken him. It's the law. Now be still.
Who and where are these gods, and who made the laws? I would bet one has nothing to do with the other. We've seen it consistently throughout human history. Isn't it heartwarming to know that the apes have built a society that's just as petty and underhanded as any of ours?
Well, let them occupy the hut of the old discarded fisherman.
Hear that?
Aha! There you are. Now, I warned you. The next time you strayed, you would be punished severely, and I meant it. Now, you come on with me.
Wait! Stay! Who are you?
Permit me to speak with you, sir.
He explains that his name is Zuma, he's on an expedition from Central City, and these two dimwits are always wandering off. Of course, they told a different story, they're habitual liars. He shouldn't have gone that route.
But, I'll take them off your hands.
It is out of my hands. Since they have lied, only the gods of the sea can decide their fate.
They're not part of your community. There's no reason why they should be subject to your local rules and rituals. I'm sure Galen agrees.
Well, that sounds reasonable enough.
Or not. You blew this one, Galen. If he had said they're too thick in the head to remember what they did from 1 minute to the next, I think everything would have been fine. But he didn't.
Who are these gods of the sea?
The sharks.
Wait, that other guy was afraid that sharks would hear them say Gato's name, even though they're several hundred yards inland and the sharks are way out there. These apes have pulled off the greatest bamboozling job in Earth's entire history. The sharks themselves are pretty well done. The fins that we see cruising around look to be the size of a great white, but the underwater footage has your basic reef sharks. They're pretty easygoing as long as you don't bother them. The last time we were diving in Honduras, we got to swim with some reef sharks, and we're definitely doing it again when we go back this summer. They are some of the most elegant creatures on the planet. Right now, the idea is to provoke one and see if they can survive it. Galen intends to make sure they do.
At least, let me have the satisfaction of giving these troublesome humans a piece of my mind.
Oh, very well.
See any chance of getting out of this at all?
I don't.
Here, take this knife. It may help.
If there isn't a convenient chimpanzee around to slip you a knife, the best way to ward off a shark attack is to go for its eyes. It seems cruel, but when it's a matter of do that or become shark poop, you do what you have to do. I wonder what he did with the knife. If he's as smart as I think he is, he dropped it after he killed the shark.
Well, I think that's that. Your law has been carried out. Now I think I'll take my slaves and be on my way.
I am not so sure about that.
Oh, now what? It's always something with this guy.
The float carrying old Gato to the gods, it's on the beach with the lashings cut. Someone has defied the god.
It is sacrilege. High treason.
I knew it. He's alive.
The old man can't be far. Find him.
I find myself wondering if Herton really believes all this stuff, or if he's the one who invented it to control the humans.
I don't think they can leave just now. This is a matter for Bandor to decide. If the old man lives, someone must die.
Okay, I nominate you. How's that sound? Oh, it has to be anybody else? Funny how that works. Galen has to make sure Gato is staying out of sight.
Gato! Gato! Gato!
Gato! Gato! Gato!
The idiot is still trying to drown himself because it's the will of the gods that if he can't catch enough fish, he has to be discarded and all that crap. Galen isn't having it and he's out of patience. He says, later you can die if you want to, but right now you're putting others in danger, so knock it off and stay put. With that promise, he'll knock it off and stay put.
Hey, we gotta do something. There's a big wheel that's coming in here tomorrow.
That's Bandor. He's in charge of many of the producing areas, and he's the one who presides over the banding of the fisherman ceremony.
Well, yeah, it only makes sense. Bandor, banding, duh. While they're out fishing, Galen is still trying to explain to Herton that those two are his property and he would like to take them and go.
Year after year, they raise my quotas. The law requires that I discard worn-out producers like Gato, who can no longer pass the test, even before new offspring can be raised to take their place.
Oh, I do so sympathize with your problem. Oh. Yeah, but then, of course, these two slaves are mine.
Oh, I'm not too sure the law of possession holds out here.
And why not? Do you always pick and choose which laws to follow and which ones to ignore?
After all, they came to me and asked to be fishermen.
Oh, but they're liars. Oh, I told you that. They are such terrible liars.
Oh, but the gods of the sea said differently.
God schmods, they managed to kill a shark. If your gods are that easy to kill, You need to get new ones.
But they'll try to escape. No, I am sure of it.
I am having them closely watched. If they try to leave, they'll be shot.
Well, then you will have gained nothing. And I will be our two good slaves.
Is Hurton listening to himself? He needs them to work for him, but at the least provocation, he'll kill them. Maybe Bandor's nephew should be in charge.
But I told you that is out of my hands. When Bandor comes for the ceremony of the bracelets, he will make the decision.
And because Bandor is as interested in increased production as you are, you think that he is going to decide in your favor.
Are you questioning the ethics of Bandor? He has high connections in Central City.
Oh.
He knows Urko himself.
Urko himself? Ooh.
That's not as impressive to, Zuma as Hurton might think, but there's no reason to tell him so.
Hello.
Gato is my father.
Come on over here. It's all right. Galen's a friend. Hey, sit down.
Why did they do a thing like that to your father?
It is the law.
So that's why Hurton looked at you when the rider came in with the news.
Romar, my husband, is afraid that we will both die, that we'll all be punished.
And now listen, we saved your father against his wishes. And we took him to a hiding place. But he could die there if we don't find some way to help him.
Take me to him.
They're not exactly in a position to do that, but Galen is.
Take it easy. Your wife's all right.
Where is Soma?
Hey, quiet, will you? You're gonna wake the God's head rifleman out there.
Our friend took her to see her father. So just calm down.
It's a trick. The gods are trying to trap you. Hold it! It's a trick!
A trick to accomplish what? He's raising way too much of a fuss.
Wait here!
The boys rush out to help treat his wound. Funny how there's a convenient pile of bandages right next to them.
Can't move it.
Yeah, went clean through it. You're lucky you're here.
I won't be able to pass the test for Bandor.
Here, what do you mean?
I knew it. I knew it. Now I'll be given to the sea gods like Gato. I knew it was death to mention his name. But you did this.
No, a gorilla with a rifle did this, and he did this because you were running around screaming like a lunatic.
Welcome, Bandor. Welcome. Did you have a good trip?
Tiring? Whenever you greet me with such big smiles, I have the feeling you are holding bad news behind your back.
Not so. In fact, I have a special surprise for you.
Bandor is uppity and grouchy. Just what you want in an effective manager, right?
Hey! The wagon ropes are gone. Factory workers are getting worse and worse. Not sending the wagon ropes back. Look, go get some in the storehouse. You should have checked. I should have checked. How about you?
So human, aren't they? They should have been watching Alan because he pilfered the ropes.
What is this great news? You have 3 young ones for me to band to replace the old one you discarded?
Only one has been raised to age and size, but 2 full-grown fishermen have joined us like they were sent by the gods.
Now Hurton is claiming partnership with the gods.
That's not what he said. So very human.
They not only spear fish while swimming under the test of fire, they kill sharks with their bare hands. 2 full-grown fishermen for you to band.
Sent by the gods, you say? Well, actually, they are runaway slaves, once owned by a rather irresponsible chimpanzee named Zuma.
He says nobody has any papers, so I'm disputing his claim of ownership.
Strong, many prime years of production in them. You say this Zuma has no papers? None. Or why would he have stolen one of our female slaves?
Does he think she's supposed to be compensation for these two? He makes some of the weirdest connections I ever saw. I'd like to see the inside of his head. I bet it looks like a kaleidoscope.
These skins have not been long in the water, but they kill sharks with their bare hands. I would say this Zuma has made an unwise move. We will just let him keep his worthless female. Tomorrow, at the ceremony, I will ban these two myself.
Yeah, about that, no. They have their own plan.
You know, I don't feel much like spearing fish and ducking sharks for the rest of my life either. This thing better work, Alan.
It will, Pete. We're gonna be fitted with a pair of permanent handcuffs.
And it involves those ropes. Let's see. What can you make out of ropes that's useful for fishing? Meanwhile, at the banding ceremony,
New areas are being opened for crops. More fertilizer is needed, which means more fish. There must be a limit. We cannot just keep increasing production. Now. If you keep getting these God-sent producers. And where are they? What? Well, I don't see these two new surprises who kill sharks with their bare hands. God, where are the two new producers?
as if he knows. While they were mingling with the crowd, they were able to mingle themselves down to the water. I thought that was Brian Hitt from REO's Speedwagon for a second, but it's just Pete. I won't bother asking for an autograph.
All right, Gato. This is where you stop being a dead discard and become a live hero. If you want your daughter to live, go.
They have this timed almost down to the second.
Gato?
That's it! Bring it in! Hey! Easy! Easy!
They're amazed to see Gato alive and giving orders, but they're even more amazed at what the boys are hauling.
Very good.
What is this? Fish by the dozens from some.
From a net, mighty Bandor. It can trap more fish in a few hours than your men could spear in a month.
Just another of the surprises I promised you.
He promised surprises, he just didn't know what they were going to be. And why should he tell Bandor that?
And even old men and women can fish in this way. You have all the fish you need and the gods will be pleased. So you can let your old people and your injured live on in your village.
That is so. That is certainly so. All part of my plan.
Hurton may be a terrible manager, but he excels at covering himself in glory. The best part? Gato gets all the credit for inventing the net. As Galen said, a live hero. He just made everybody's life an order of magnitude easier, including Hurton's.
Extra rations for all from now on. A celebration. First, we start with the banding ceremony.
Sir, would the mighty Bandor do us the honor of assisting in the greatest catch of all?
And what is that?
Come with me, sir.
They've helped those people have a better, longer life. Now it's time to make their own lives a little easier.
It's not fitting that the greatest bounty of the sea should be taken by a mere human. Therefore, this revolving wheel will be held by Zuma.
I don't understand. Oh, well, you see, the largest fish can break the net. But this cord will entangle it in its loop.
And when it's all done doing that, the pigs can fly. Nice bit of gibberish, Galen.
Yes, well, here. You hold tight. Tight.
I have a feeling Galen in particular is going to enjoy this.
Come on now, come along. We must not keep Bandor waiting.
Aye, aye, sir. You watch this.
Bandor reminds me of how my dog gets sometimes. He's all excited and he has no idea why. But he's hanging onto that rope as instructed.
Grab a paddle. Would you rather swim?
Me? End of the line.
I suppose they could have put Bandor to work gathering it up again, but watching him puzzle over it is more fun.
Shoot! Shoot! It worked!
The final surprise, they're also magicians who do a vanishing act. Bye-bye.
I said you were liars. I just had no idea you were that good at it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Galen. As soon as we're away from here, I want to have a little talk with you about that.
Yeah, and I'd like to discuss this owner-slave relationship with you.
Not a bad idea. It makes a good cover as long as they establish a few ground rules and a decent backstory. But I don't think that's the direction he had in mind.
Well, personally, I don't want to have to pull you two out of another scrape. Right away.
And you can't help but laugh. I continue to believe that this show should have gotten more of a chance. It's quality writing and acting, the sets are good, and we have a good mix of drama and comedy relief. Honestly, I don't think you can ask for more out of a show. Within the first 2 episodes, we established our world and its rules, and we've been consistent about it. Alan hasn't talked about his disc lately, but I think he got that out of his system a few episodes ago. Or it might come up later, we don't know. Most recently, he's been occupied with such trivial activities as dodging gorillas with guns and spearfishing, and making a monkey out of a snooty orangutan. But that's just entertainment to help him unwind after a hard day. The look on Bando's face as they went around the point always makes him smile. The fertilizer for the agricultural reasons. Regions. If they could move a little more freely, they might... If he's the one who invented it... I have a feeling Galen...